Okay, so welcome to this second live stream of my little cat game. I'm making a video game in Odin programming language with the Raylib graphics library, and I also make some pixel art in Aseprite. So today I will first show sort of like what has happened since the last stream, and then I will also after that I will do some new stuff, like I will improve some pixel art that I think needs some touch-ups, and then I have some new gameplay that I want to implement. And this gameplay consists of the cat that is currently running around in the game. It should go to space, I think, in a spaceship. And I can begin by showing the current state of the game. So we can start the game like this. So here's my cat, and here's the spaceship that I have made over here. And if you go up to the spaceship, then the cat enters, and then you can fly away. And that's what we're gonna focus on later today, to actually make the camera follow the spaceship, and then we're gonna make it so that there's some new gameplay that happens when you fly away like that. I can restart the game. I have also, I can just in general say that I have just added some new level stuff here. I mean, I've redone the sort of white boxing of this level. This spaceship is supposed to be at the end of this level, so you go through this level and you sort of jump up these ledges, you learn to jump around a bit, and then you have to climb up this little mountain thingy here, and then you go here and up this, and up, special move there. Oh, I can't seem to get up there. Here we go. And then you come up to this plateau here, where you will... This is my old mock-up of the rocket. I can switch to the editor and show. But I made a little funny pixel rocket that looks like an onion instead. Yeah. So that's what I have been. That's the sort of the state of the game right now. And now I want to show sort of what I did since the last live stream. Just gonna check that the health of the stream is all good. Yeah, seems good. So, since the last live stream, I have added triggers to the game. There was no kind of concept of triggers before, which means that well, one trigger is the one you walk into here, so you fly away with the spaceship. That's one of the triggers. And there is this edit mode, and you see the blue thing here is a trigger. That's currently all the tooling there is right now for triggers, since I haven't like made them general enough yet. So there's just this hard-coded trigger to make it go into the spaceship. But I will make sure the triggers have some kind of nice configurable behavior later. I have also added a rocket ship with a trigger to control it, which is what you saw here. And since last live stream, I have added what I call the concept of render objects. And so during the last live stream, I just sort of rendered everything. There was sort of a drawing function. I had this draw world. Hello, Jakub Tomsu. There was this draw world function, but it sort of just went through, like, it went through all the walls in the game, so you see I had these green things, and then it drew the player character separately. Now I have this concept of render objects that everything that is rendered in the game uses. And these are just some kind of little struct called a render object, and they can either use a texture or a rectangle, which is the two. Like, you can have one that displays a texture or displays a rectangle, which is the two different variants you see here. These green ones is the rect version, and this cat here and the spaceship, those are the texture versions. And you see this one is animated also, but the render object doesn't know anything about that. It is just fed sort of like which texture, this render object has a union, and if it's set to render object texture, then it will be like, okay, so which texture and which texture rect, like which rect in that inside the texture I'm looking at. So that's how you do the animation, and then you have a destination rect for where you want to put it in the world. So I'm using this render object to sort of I store a big list of these, and then the player and the walls and all those they have a handle to one of these render objects. So yeah, that is then used in the draw world function. It just goes over all the render objects, and these render objects also have a Z key for doing like a depth sorting, because like you could just choose in 2D you have to, the thing that's rendered first is the thing that goes behind other things sort of. So either you sort of manually hard code that order, or you have to make some sort of system for sorting it when it's time to draw the world, which is what I did. So the render obj has a Z, that's what I call it right now. That's just a key for saying like negative, like the lower the value is further behind. So let's see here. So it uses the Z to kind of sort them, and then when it has sorted them, it switches on the actual object of the render object. So if it's a texture, if it's the player or the spaceship, it uses this one. If it's a rectangle, like this sort of like boxes, then it uses this one. So I did that. Then I did some improved camera handling. This just means that I used to do this weird thing where the whole nowadays the camera is only used during draw world. So the only time you're sort of in world space where the camera is looking is when you're during draw world. Before it, I had some weird stuff where the whole update loop, including the normal sort of have my game update function here. So here's the play mode up. When you're playing, it's running this function, play mode update. And before this, like the camera was set during this whole function, but now instead the camera is only used inside draw world, and it doesn't actually draw anything except down here, and this just updates the state. And this is much better, because before I was like, oh, but I'm looking at where the camera is looking, so now I have to, and if I want to come to sort of another coordinate system, I have to kind of go via the camera and do like some kind of screen to world transform or whatever. So that's much better now. A bug we saw a lot in the last stream was whenever I moved the window, the cat fell through the ground. The root cause of this is bad physics. I have no sort of sweep test and stuff, but I don't want to make my new good physics system yet, so I've just added a max frame delta time cap, which means that if the frame time is longer than a certain value, in this case like 32 milliseconds or something, then it caps it at that. This is just so because otherwise I move this around, and while I'm moving the window, the frame time got longer and longer, so you got a super long frame after that, and then the cat just fell through the ground. So that's a temporary fix for that, but it's not going to happen like during this stream that I fall through the ground. And then I redid the mockup level, which means I just redid all this, and like I said, this spaceship is going to move over to the end of the level at a little plateau, but it's here right now for my testing purposes. I want to run into it, and we're going to use this a lot today when we make some nice gameplay. So today I'm going to improve some pixel art. We're going to look at we essentially all this follow spaceship with camera, spaceship controls, transition into spaceship game mode, and spaceship gameplay. And all this is sort of nice gameplay stuff. And then maybe at the end I want to make a nice animation for the cat actually entering the spaceship, because currently just snapping inside. So just before we start with doing the gameplay programming, I just wanted to make a little so in this game, the sort of idea or synopsis or whatever you want to call it of the game is that you are this cat, and you start the game and you meet your friend the squirrel, who is sitting here and crying next to their sawed down dead oak tree. And this is the stump of the oak tree. It's gonna be replaced by nice graphics later. And the squirrel is very sad, and you ask it why, and then it says someone cut down my tree, and then it asks you, oh, can you get me a new oak tree? And then you're like, sure. But then it says, but actually they cut down all the oak trees on this planet. So then you have to go through the forest or whatever is left of it and find your little spaceship, and then when you go into the spaceship, it sort of softly transitions into sort of a space stage where you fly through space until you find the planet with that still has oak trees, which maybe we'll call Oklahoma or something. Who knows? And eventually maybe you'll find some oak. What's it called? The oak. What is it that squirrels eat? Like a little oak pod or whatever. But it's called an acorn. It's called an acorn. So you find one of those, and then you'll come back, and there will be some more funny things going on. But so that's sort of the synopsis of the game, and there's going to be a slightly different game mechanics in a different sort of game modes. Now I'm running around as a 2D thing, and then I'm in the spaceship. It's going to be more like, like one of those going through space sort of upwards. I don't know what they're called. I don't play many of those, like F-Zero or something. Is that one of those? Maybe. And then so it would be quite different, but I will try to make the gameplay quite easy, so it's more like a cute, fun adventure story to experience or something. And one thing I really don't like in games in general is when there are like hard cuts or transitions, like black screens, hard cuts to say that I fly away in the spaceship, and then it does a hard cut to that game mode. So I want to try to make all these transitions very nice. So that's sort of I've spent some time doing all these sort of like jump up animations, but then I also want to make sure that the cat goes into the spaceship properly, not just snap. And then when you fly away, it will smoothly transition into another game mode, and then when you're far away enough from this sort of 2D side-scroller area, it will sort of stop drawing all that and stop updating that, and instead only focus on the new game mode. And I want to have the smooth transitions through it, and then at the end maybe it's a nice, who knows, 20-minute game that you have gone through without a single loading screen or hard cut. And it and it sort of tells this nice little cute story or something. Okay, so that's sort of the idea of what I'm doing here. So there it flew away. So let's get started. For those who don't know, like I said, I'm making this in the Odin programming language, and I'm using the Raylib graphics library, and I will do some pixel art in Aseprite. And for the Odin programming language, I will just it's a really nice language, but I talked a bit in the last stream about why it's nice. During this stream, when I run into something that I think is really nice that I want to call out, and I will just do so there. So we sort of go through it like that. And so I will pour myself some tea and have a sip. And it was really hot. Okay, now we'll get started. So we're gonna improve some of the pixel art in a bit, I think. But we can start with that I want to have a nicer follow spaceship with camera thing. So currently you go into the spaceship and you fly away. And then nothing happens. So let's see here. We have an update, game update function here somewhere, and in here we have play mode update. Play mode update does sort of a switch on which is the controlled player. So there is a one. This uses, I've talked about this a bit in the last stream. This uses the struct support in Odin. So controlled player is either a pointer to a player cat struct, or it's a pointer to a player rocket struct, and it's actually a pointer to one of these two, the cat or the rocket. And so in this case, then P will be a pointer to an object of type player cat, if you're in this case. And then if you're down in this case, then P will be a pointer to the player rocket type. This gives you sort of the nice stuff of enums and like C-style unions all at once. So when you are the rocket, it runs this code. This code doesn't currently update the camera, which is why it stays still. So as a first thing to do here, I want to take, this is the code updates the camera. It checks, it currently does this only for the cat. It checks the current camera position minus the position of P, which is the player cat. And then it adds that times some random number. So it'll steal that code and go down to this case here. Maybe I'll, yeah, doesn't really matter. And you can compile that and then see. Yeah, now it follows it. There's nothing in the background yet, but hey, at least it follows it. You sort of go out of picture after a while because the camera can't keep up because this multiplier is not high enough. So I'm just gonna increase that for now, and hopefully it, yeah. But so what we want to do here is we're gonna make sure that, so we're gonna, when the player starts flying away, we're gonna fly for a short period of time, and then we're actually sort of gonna switch game mode. And at that point, the camera will start behaving a bit differently also, because we're sort of in the playing with the rocket game mode, which will be sort of have different gameplay mechanics. So it flies away. We can actually go into the editor and add some stuff here just to visualize that, to make it a little bit more obvious that it's flying away. Oh, and then it doesn't have a collider right now, the rocket. Oh, of course it went into it. I put it above. Yeah, okay, so it's flying away. Oh, I accidentally closed the game with escape. So another question is, what do we want to happen here? I think initially I only want the player to be able to fly straight up, and then when you sort of enter the other game mode, it will when you enter the other game mode, you will get more control over it. Question from the chat: do you have a GitHub where you pushed some of your code already? Well, it is on GitHub, but it's not public right now, unfortunately. We'll see if I change that in the future or after the stream or something. But yeah, so my idea for this is I'm not sure. We will see how this game goes. Maybe it's something I want to release, in the end at some point. So I'm a bit like torn if I should put it, like just like a fun open source project or not. Okay. So I think that we will add some sort of to the game actually, let's start with some better controls of the spaceship, and then we'll switch. So we'll play with that a bit first. So I will remove, well, actually it doesn't matter, these can be here. So we'll start with some better controls for it. So currently, like I said, you can only press up. I don't have like a nice input system yet, but the day when I want a gamepad, I will abstract these things away somehow so it knows like what is up, or yeah, like, so it abstracts away the control method. So let's go to the rocket. So I want to make nicer controls, and I think I want to make it so that the rocket can sort of sway a bit more side to side, and this means, okay, let's start with if rl.isKey down left, then p.vel.x equals, what happens if I do this? Oh, semicolon. In Odin you don't need semicolons, which is sort of nice. Oh, wait. What did I used to? Oh, I'm gonna minimize the stream like that. Minimize OBS. Okay, I can. It goes a bit, sways a bit side to side, and I think I want it to be like. I think there's like you can do this in Odin, like if right then 10 else. Can I do that? I don't remember. There's something like that you can do. Oh no, it's like 10 if. Yes, so you can start right 10 if this else that, and then I can do it on the left case as well. So now the player's velocity will be like that. See. Oh, it there was a funny, stupid mistake to do. Sort of, I can only go to the right now because it will always null my speed, remove my speed. So we do this instead. I was too smart, or I was trying to be too smart. So we check if the left or the right key is pressed, then, and if none of them are pressed, then we set p.vel. So this is just a first iteration sort of the of this. So this is why it's not very fancy code. Like that. So now it will work. So it will be if left is held or right is held, and if none of those is true, then it will set it to 0. That was... Oh. Coding on stream. What is it even? Why doesn't it... Oh, now it works. Yeah, so we got it like that. can do like side velocity. This is a x max x velocity. This is just a constant, so we put it at 10. Then we can do this instead. Then I can put it at 20. Okay. Also, so this gameplay I want for this is that you sort of be kept inside one screen, and the spaceship will go from side to side. But when it's going sideways, it will sort of the spaceship will be a bit of an angle, sort of. So when I go right to the right, it will point its nose up here, and we go to the left, it will point up like that a bit. And I think we can do that easily somehow. So I can show you how the currently what it does in order to actually show the spaceship to actually draw the spaceship and also draw this little. So by the way, this fire animation, I made this in 10 seconds. We will replace this in a tiny bit, but what happens when, for example, this animates, or when the cat animates, is that it runs set render object animated sprite, and then the spaceship has two render objects. It has one render object and one for the fire. So that, and then it feeds these like, oh, this is the position of the rocket currently, and this is which sprite we want to use. And up here we update the animated sprite of the fire. Since it's animated, we need to constantly sort of and this is like a standard flipbook animation. It just goes through the frames of a sprite sheet. And down here it and yeah, so for the fire it takes the position of the rocket plus some hard-coded thing I put. Yeah. Why? Actually, this one should probably... This is the Z index of the fire. We're just lucky that it's behind the spaceship. And it only shows the fire if you have a positive, if you have a non-zero Y velocity. Anyways, so this is what that does. So we need to sort of turn the spaceship somehow, and then we probably need to extend this thing somehow. And what this thing does, set render object as animated sprite, it makes one rectangle which is sort of where in the source texture, and by source texture I mean for example for the cat that's walking, we have this. So it chooses which of these rectangles it needs to be inside. So this is what this does. It sort of takes like, oh, the X position inside the texture is the current frame times the width divided by the number of frames. So it knows where to start on this. And then the width is just the width of this texture divided by the number of frames, and blah blah blah. And then there's some flip thing that we don't need to care about. And then the destination rect is sort of where in the world will this be drawn. And then it comes in like where you feed the position to this function, like where should this thing be. And then it uses the size of the texture as for setting the width of the destination rect. So the destination rect is just like, this is the destination rect right here, like where in the world it needs to be drawn. And what it does then, it has this render object handle, which I showed you here. It has, so the rocket has two. It has one called render object and one for the fire, two separate ones. And this one at the end here, it fetches the render object with the render object handle it was fed, like this, and then it sets the Z order. There's a parameter to this function, but the important thing is here that it says sets the object on it to render object texture. And I think I showed you at the start that the render object is just like a struct like this. It has a union that can either be a render object texture or render object rect. And in the texture case, it can take a texture with a rect and a destination rect, which is what we have calculated here. So and this thing currently fetches from like a global table all the render objects that exist in the world. So this gives a little like indirection, because what I was noticing was like, oh, we have the player cat here, and the cat has a render object which is a handle, and the handle is just an integer into a big list of render objects that lives in the game. And so before this I had like, you know, it just, my draw world function just went in and took the current animated sprite of the cat, and then it took all the little green blocks in the world and rendered those, and it was and then I was gonna add the player rocket also, and in that case it just started feeling like, you know, then I was like, either I do like an entity system now, which means that I have some kind of like some base struct which is sort of like an entity, and then you can go either, you know, the more traditional like some object-oriented stuff where you have try to derive from that one. There is some ways you can do that in Odin. Either you can try to do like well, the most common way, if you don't want to make things complicated for yourself, is to use like a union inside the base entity. And there is, if you look into Odin, there's a nice demo file that Ginger Bill, the author of Odin, has made, which shows this, how to make like an entity. Well, actually, why don't I show you? I have it in my this is Ginger Bill's code for the demo and entity. So he does sort of like this, and well, this is an example of how one way to do it. So you have like an entity is a struct, and it has derived a union that can be either a frog or a monster, and then when you create it, you make an entity and then you set the derived one. Or you can, there is some variations of this. However, I wasn't sure that's the way I wanted to go, so instead I was like, okay, what's the common thing among the things right now, at least in the game? And that's sort of my philosophy. I only want to make the thing that I need right now, and then I can evaluate it, reevaluate. So instead, the things the player had in common with the cat and then the sort of objects in the world was that they all need rendering. So I just put on a render object handle, which is, like I said, just an int. And in game init, I currently go like this. Here it creates the player cat, and this can actually go in here like that. But anyway, so it creates for the cat a render object, and the render object, it has a free list. There's a free list you can pop it from, or it just makes a new render object handle and adds it to the sort of, currently it's just a global table, and this is then used by the draw world function. It goes through all the render objects, sorts them according to the Z, and then draws it. This way I can just make totally arbitrary update code that works in any way it wants, and then it will, but it will still be drawn by just having and updating a render object on those. So for the, I think I showed you for the, like in the when you're in the cat, when you're playing as the cat, it just, depending on which state you're currently in, if you're like this, or if you're we can walk over here, so it has a walking animation, or you can get stuck to the side here. So it has different animations. So depending on those, depend on which state it's currently in. So this is the normal state where it's walking, and in this case, it chooses an active sprite. That's the anime walk, the walk animation, and in some other cases, it chooses like the jump animation and stuff. And then at the end of it, it takes the render object of the cat, and sets it and says that, okay, I want for this render object I want it to have this sprite at this position, and then it has some extra stuff as well. And this, like I said before, this updates this. It fetches the render object, sets it, and then the draw world stuff can use that. And there's like this little nice decoupling between them. It might not be the most efficient way to do it. I think I want maybe later to have some kind of way to do static geometry that doesn't do, like, maybe it can combine things together and it doesn't need to do all the sorting all the time and all that. You know, I do the Z order sorting. Maybe can like combine them into one big block and then put those like per depth value. But yeah, so that's what where was I? Yeah, so what I want here in the game now is for the rocket. I play with rocket, and then I want it to go like rotate a bit when I go like this. And I think in draw world that let's see, this one, draw texture pro, this is a Raylib function. I think this one has a rotation, so I need to feed the rotation over here somehow. That's what I want to do. So I will just go to render object texture and add like a rotation float of F32, and then I will set render object animated sprite. We'll now also take a rot, and then it will go down here and it will take this and go like rotation equals rot. And now I will get lots of compilation errors. So in this case I can put 0. In this case I can put, see, this is in the cat update function. The cat's not going to rotate. That would look very silly. And these two will need to rotate. Okay. Now I want to calculate the rotation. So here I will use R, which is my rotation. And I will calculate that based on the velocity. I could use, I guess, some like trig thing, but still like a what is it I want here actually? Do I want like a okay, let's actually, what you do first is you just snap it, so I don't have to be too smart. R is an F32, and then, well, we just do this for now. R is minus. Question is this in degrees or in like radians? We're about to find out. If we do minus 90 and then plus 90 here, and then go over here, put in R, then we compile. Start the game. I think maybe it crashed due to me changing the struct layout. And that did absolutely nothing. That's interesting. Let's see. The rotation comes in here. It is set down here on rot object texture. I don't use it. O.rotation. So this will feed it into the Raylib function that does the drawing. Now we'll see if it's radians or... What did I do? This is for sure is intended. are oh, smart. So it rotates around the pivot. It seems like the pivot is... No, it's rotating around 0, I think. Or is it? Draw world. Is it this one? Oh, I wanted a docs. Whatever. So it seems to be... How? I haven't... So usually in games what happens is that if you need to rotate something, you need to rotate around the correct sort of origin. And this one is oh, it is. Oh yeah, the origin is here, top left corner, which makes sense now. Okay. So I was for some reason thinking it was in the middle at the top, but of course not. Everything in Raylib is like top left corner is the origin. So how to... How do I do that? That is the question. Rotation. So what you usually need to do is you need to sort of transform the object into like to the middle of it, and then rotate, and then transform it back, at least in 2D or 3D. But I'm not 100% sure how to do that in here. I should have looked this up before, I think. How to do like the proper now I'm just doom scrolling in the Odin source code. Draw Texture Pro. Is there like a translate? Yeah, so there's a transform, and then I want like a... So you have all the... You have the camera matrices and all that, but it's not related to that. It's just that I want to translate it before drawing. Oh well, I will try to figure that part out later. I need to dig into exactly how the like transforms and stuff So essentially I need to transform to the middle of the thing, do the rotation and transform back. Not sure how to do that right now, but I'm not gonna find it right now on the stream, I think. So what we're gonna do now is, let's see here, I had a little list here of things, or maybe I closed it, it doesn't matter. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna do quickly some pixel art touch-ups, because as you see when you fly away with the rocket, I made this fire I made in literally 10 seconds, like last night or something. So I'm gonna make it so that I'm just gonna redo it in slightly longer time. Let's see. So we're gonna start a sprite, then we're gonna load up fire, and it just looks like this. Very cool. And then I'm just gonna redo all these. So I'm gonna remove these frames. Delete frame. And then I will go here. And I will just sort of thinking of how fire looks. Just gonna draw something, and I always do pixel art with mouse. Like when it's this low resolution. Wait, it's usually red first. When it's this low resolution, it doesn't make any sense, I think, to use that, at least not for me, use a tablet, because I want to quickly jump back and forth between the code and the stuff, and also there's something about the accuracy when you're doing it. Something about the accuracy when you're doing it with the mouse that's nicer for when it's really chunky pixel art, at least to me. So like that. I don't think we need the blue part. So I'm just trying to make like a base shape. It should probably be more like this, then be more like that, and then the red stuff should what's in the eraser, the red stuff should come out a bit more like that. Maybe. I don't know. How does fire even look? And then we make a new frame. What's the shortcut? Alt-N. And then I just change this. This is fire. Fire is quite chaotic. We can cut this one off. Move this back. Move this out a bit, I think. And then this stuff we can protrude a bit like that. And someone said that, I said this last time, but my friend told me that art, you know, people think like, oh, you need to know exactly how things look and know how, you need to know really study art in order to like know what to how to draw stuff and stuff. But it's but he said nah, it's just 90% feeling. Maybe I changed it too much in one frame. Depends on, fire is a bit funny, so fire is quite chaotic. I'm gonna delete this frame and redo it. And change it more subtly. Then this goes in a bit. And then this goes like that. Gonna wait, in the second frame I'm gonna squeeze it in a bit. So I just want to change it sort of not too, so I'm a bit torn, like I said. If fire is a bit weird because it's very chaotic, but maybe I don't want to change it too much. Sort of like I can show the when the cat is walking. I will in this animation it just changes a tiny bit per frame. If you can't change it too much, but in the old fire animation it's just crazy. But like I said, I made that one in 10 seconds. So we'll see. We have this and this and that. Then we expand this a bit downwards. Grapefruit says sends a hot dog emoji. Hi Grapefruit. And then maybe there is some like red stuff appearing inside here. Because okay, that doesn't. I think the colors of the fire is usually the yellowest part is at the end. How does fire look? Fire. Oh, wait. Am I stupid? Am I making it backwards? Ah, that's why it looks so weird. You usually put the red. This is why you look at a reference before you start. You usually put the red stuff at the end. Ah, I see now. We can fix that. Let's see. We take. Also, I probably want a slightly less strong color. Do like this, and then we do go here. Put this crazy color. Maybe already. That actually looks a bit more like fire. Who would have known? Oops. Take this and put it there. Was it? Let me take some of this yellow stuff. And then I can redo this one because we barely did. I just want 4 frames essentially. Okay, and this one may. So from this one to this one, I made it. It's sort of like trying to change the shape of it without just going back and forth between the same 2 shapes. So from this one to this one, I made it a bit more narrow and added some stuff down here. So maybe now I want to like, oh, let's go crazy. Let's just go like this. And then there's like an offshoot coming out here, and there's like a who knows. And then we have this going out like this. And then this
this kind of join up like that. Oh yeah. And this one goes away a bit and it jumps up like that. Maybe I went too crazy. Nah, it's fine. Okay, what we can do is we can do like this. So it sort of hints that there's gonna be like a spark going to the side, and we can go in here and hint that it's gonna be this thing is gonna appear. And then yeah, I'm gonna try to connect them a bit more. So like the yellow area connects up a bit more with how, because it's a bit random right now. So I think it's quite good to just make like just draw things, and when if like from one frame to the other it doesn't, you know, look nice, try to either add a frame in between that is a bit more in between both, or make one of the frames that already exist slightly closer to the other one. So now you can sort of feel that the yellow area is sort of like, yeah, there's a bit of more connection. Maybe I go like that. That one goes out. I don't know. And then we're gonna add one more frame, and then I'm gonna say that this one is done. What's gonna happen now? Okay, so we did like this, like that, and now you want something that's maybe slightly closer to this again, but not this. Right. But you also want it to be similar to enough to this so it doesn't jump all over the place. So I want to have this. So I'm gonna retreat these yellow areas a bit up like this. And then I'm gonna like do like this maybe. Remove that one. And so from this one to this one, this happens right now. And this spark is just gonna go off like this. And this stuff here is gonna go down like this. Yeah, so it from this one to this one it moves from 3 to 4, it moves a bit like that. Remove that. Actually, I'm gonna add a little spark here, I think, like that. So I'm just pressing left and right arrow here to jump between the 4th and the 1st frame. Okay, something I did in the first frame was that I had much thicker outlines, which sort of makes sense. We'll go through again quickly and add that. So this area needs to retreat up a bit like this. And then this one goes a bit like that, maybe, just to give it some flair. And then this maybe like that. Flatten it off a bit and maybe pull in some of this orange. Now he's playing it. I think it will go. I put it slightly faster inside the editor also. And now we have this orange stuff. I think maybe it looks a bit better when there's more orange, a bit like in the reddest color. just red-orange. I think it looks a bit better when there's slightly more of that. So we'll add some. Too much. Maybe like that. And then, actually, I think this part up here might not be much visible because there is like the nozzle or whatever it's called of the rocket might be in the way. So let's export it as a sprite sheet and see how it looks. So in Aseprite you can export like PNG nice flipbook style sprite sheets that just look, this is what it will export. So it's called fire and these settings are fine. And yeah, it's this one I want to replace. Export. Let's see what happens. Oh. Does this... Yeah, so this area in the middle stays almost the same the whole time. So I will push this back a bit, like this. Then I will make this hole much bigger in the last frame. And then see. I wonder if it's just going to fit better in. So I just load, currently I just load all my animations like this. So the rocket has its fire, it has a very fast animation speed. So I'm just gonna half that. Restart the game. Yeah, looks a bit better. I think maybe I have to do one more pass on this. So I think maybe the fire needs sort of more sparks flying off below. Maybe I need to make a longer animation that goes down like this. But yeah, at least it's no longer like 10-minute drawing. And speaking of that, I want to this spaceship thing here. I want to fix some stuff on that one as well. And that one is the rocket. So for this one, I saved one version without the cat and one with. So I just want to make this look slightly rounder. That's all. So then I'm just gonna work on the shading here a bit. And then take this one, maybe. What color is this? It's that one. Then maybe I take this. And let's go down. That. Is that how light works? Who knows? And then this one we can make slightly brighter over here. Nah. No, it just looks like it's turned inside out, doesn't it? Do all that.
Dun, 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 dun. How does like yeah, I get all these funny tabs after a while. Oh, there's a tab of fire, and now there will be more like sphere, lightning, lighting. So this is, I call this one the space onion. It's the cat spaceship. And yeah. Okay, let's try. I go up a bit in brightness like this. And then this will stay mostly the same. I will like add a small like sheen to it like that, something. And then I want down here to have like something similar, because this is supposed to be like a nozzle or something. So it's darker down here, maybe even darker. And then it goes brighter over here. This is of course assuming there's some kind of light source on the left side. There's all interesting things you could do with pixel art and like lighting. You could have like you can, if you think your light source is over somewhere, then you can do like pretend the light source over there and you shade it into the thing. I've also seen some experiments where people made like normal maps for 2D. So you had like a it's usually used for 3D, but you can actually have like, oh, this part of the surface is pointing this way, and then they had like dynamic lights and that. Yeah, from the chat, some Yuki cat says some dithering might be cool, and yeah, I will work a bit more on it off stream maybe. But you're right, maybe like I'm not the best at dithering. So it's the fun thing about this project is that I'm not a graphics artist, but I will just try to learn as I go. And yeah, and I think I will make lots of art, and after a while I will be angry with the old art that I made, because I've learned to make much nicer, and then that art will I will want to replace it, because otherwise you have this funny mishmash of old and new styles. I remember I saw like some documentary, I think it was about the video game Fez, where the Phil Fish, he said that the project took so long to do, so he started it, and that's when they had come like halfway, he's like, I'm much better at doing art now, so then he had to redo everything. So that can happen. Yeah. I'm just trying to quickly do some kind of funny dithering-ish stuff here. So I'm like, oh, dithering. Well, that's when you do like an interleaved pixel pattern on the, like you vary it, like you have fully colored areas like this, but when you want to transition into another one, you mix them a bit. That's my definition of it. But I think there's like, when you look at it a bit more, there's like all these fancy ways
to do it. Like you can do it programmatically with like dithering. You can calculate dithering patterns and all that. But yeah, thanks. Good suggestions. This is actually much better already. Dun 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 dun. I'm like, I was doing programming, then I got stuck on that I didn't know how to rotate around the pivot, so now I'm doing pixel art instead. Oh well. I was supposed to do this, but we'll get back to the programming soon. I just want to do a little bit of this. This is sort of like a sheen or something, I guess. Maybe down here we'll have some extra amount of the dark stuff. Yuki Cat, did you know my parents' cat is named Yuki? Yuki Cat is someone in the chat. It's just funny that it has the same name as my parents' cat and suffixed with cat. Well, of course you didn't know that, but like, did you know? Okay. Maybe that is something. So now I need to re-export this. This one. Wait, I need to do 2 versions. This is a bit. I don't. Okay, what I'm gonna do is. Oh wow, my mom's cat is named Yuki, says Yuki Cat in the chat. Oh, Yuki, same, what do you call it? We're like Yuki siblings or something. Rocket. Yes. Export. And then I will export one without the cat. That's the one. It says rocket no cat. Okay, export. Yeah, my parents' cat that's called Yuki got the name because my brother who originally had it, his wife had watched some anime show where there was someone called Yuki. But then their kid couldn't say Yuki, so the kid said Klukke instead, because it was a baby. So I just called the cat Klukke. So there we have the rocket. It has this fabulous dithering now, and it has fabulous fire, and it goes sideways when you do that, and then it flies away. Cat went to space. Excellent. Okay. Row R. I'm gonna look later into this rotation business because I need to spend some time. I think I'll do it off stream maybe. Figure out how to do the rotation of it. But that part is not so important. I was just wanted to get started with some visual stuff. What I'm wondering is, yes, is this my list of stuff? No, I had here it is. I should not save this and I get confused again later. Okay, so I have improved some pixel art. I have made a spaceship follow the camera. I have made spaceship controls, not really. So what I want to do now is sort of transfer the game into this spaceship play mode, which is sort of plays like a different game or something. So I have this bad habit. Sometimes I close the application even though I don't really need to, because it's I can do lots of hot reloading because I have support for that. Okay, so let's look at the game again. I need support for. So what I'm thinking is, so in this game, like I said, I want smooth transitions. I want it to be like different game modes where the game plays a bit differently in different areas. Like depending on where you are in the little story or adventure going through. But I never want any of them to have a hard cut, sort of bit like a black screen or something. So I'm thinking when you've traveled up far enough, then I will put the game in another game mode. So let's try to do that. I will start by removing these blocks. I can just remove the top ones. Maybe I do like this to make it like a little, just have a visual indicator when I, oops, that was this is my debug rendering mode. See, I have like, this is the collider, the trigger you walk into to trigger the rocket sequence. Yeah, okay, so sort of like there, when that happens, I want it to transition game mode. So we're gonna go to, maybe we'll make a little enum or something to start. Game mode enum, and what we will have, currently we have cat and we have rocket. You might be like, oh, but isn't that just like who is currently controlling it? Yeah, but so you do control the rocket a while where you're still sort of in this part of the world, and then it's gonna like this. We'll see exactly how these transitions work, if you have like a nice smooth transition or not. Like if like how we make smooth transition. So I will be in the cat game mode for a little while steering the rocket, and then it will switch to the other one when I think it's at the correct time. Okay. So then the game memory needs to have like some kind of game mode. And this one, go to game init. Let's see here. mem.gamemode equals cat. And then I'm gonna start off by going into draw. How am I gonna do this? I just realized that I'm currently going over all the render objects and sort of rendering them based on which yeah, it just renders all of them. But now I want to be like, okay, I'm in now I transition into the other game mode. So I'm thinking of how to do that nicely. So there's a couple of different. So I could just hide lots of render objects so they're not drawn when depending on that, but that feels a bit bad. The render objects currently live inside the game memory, which is like the big outer game memory, but it feels a bit like maybe I've designed this poorly, since I want to. No, maybe it's fine. Maybe when I enter, so like this, when I enter the rocket mode, then I destroy all the things, all the objects that have like that render the walls and stuff, and maybe the original cat, because now I'm having only the cat in the rocket. So I just destroy all those, and then I can put in new ones. So I think that's probably how I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna keep this exactly like it is, and then just add and remove objects instead. So when we are case player rocket. I'm just gonna first of all hack in something here that's just like I'm gonna figure out which position that is. So I'm gonna go like play.post.y. I'm gonna print that all the time when I'm in the rocket. It's -10. It's -60. And then it's -160 roughly is when I want to transition game mode. So if the position of the player is less than 100, the Y position is less than 160, then mem do I even need the like enum, the game mode enum? Because what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna destroy lots of stuff associated with the running around as the cat, and then I'm gonna put in new things, and that's like so. And what is that? Maybe I just, let's see, the world has lots of walls. Walls are just the walls are just like the green blocks that you have lying around in there. So maybe that actually the only stuff I need to do, I think, is to sort of reset the whole world. And the players are currently outside the world, so I don't need to handle that right now. Update. Play mode update. Okay, so yeah, so what I think I'll do is I'll have several worlds going at the same time, and then when I feel like it, I will toss out the ones that I actually don't need. This world here is just one of the worlds. Yeah, I think that'd be okay. I'll start with just destroying everything in the existing world, and then I will repopulate it. Okay, I think I need, and then if we're at this position and mem.gamemode equals .cat, then we'll do game mode equals .rocket, and then we'll go through for the walls in. Do I have like a destroy world? No. Okay, I have a shutdown function. I know what I need to do. So I currently don't dynamically add or remove sort of these walls from the game, so I need to add something for that. So in order to remove a wall, you just destroy the render object and then remove it from the list of walls. Like I said, the walls are the green things in the game. And here I come back to, like, you know, like I said, I had my render object thingy. So this is currently sort of the thing that makes things render. And we'll see if I do like some general entity concept. But currently my world has walls, and maybe up in space there will be like funny things coming at you. And those might be totally other objects, and then the update code in the different game modes take care of just making sure to update those, because there might not be that many different kinds of objects, but what's in common between them is the rendering. Let's see what the chat said. Yeah, maybe just have world section triggers where you dynamically allocate a certain type of world object depending on where you are in the world. Yeah. Yeah, I think something like that. This is sort of almost becoming, you know, like in some video games you have like streaming, like you have one world that is sort of the world you're currently in, and then you can load in new stuff and then kind of like merge that into the current one over time, or like you can do it in small chunks or whatever. There's lots of different ways to do it. So we'll see. I'll start with the simplest thing, to just like destroy world. Evil. Destroy the world. And then I will do like this. I will go to up. So I looked before at my editor code, because that's currently the only place where I destroyed these sort of wall sections. Destroy render object. So I go for let's call it world, because then I can do for W in world.walls destroy render object, because the wall has a render object, right? Yes, the wall render, and this one it just appends the render object, which is just an integer, to the free list of render objects, and then zeros the render object at that index. And the reason you do this is that you just want handles, is that so other code can like the list of render objects might be reallocated when it grows and stuff, so you can't just have a pointer to the render object. So it's better to have a handle that sort of acts as an indirection, and then you do like that. Destroy world. And I think that's that, and then I can be like clear world.walls, I think. And for the triggers don't, I think the triggers I can just clear world.triggers, because there is colliders, they don't have a rendering representation. There's just a debug render representation, but that one doesn't matter, because that one is drawn immediate when I want it. So then we do like this: destroy world mem dot world. Okay, let's see if that worked. It's very hard to tell, but we can, yeah. So now I went into edit mode and looked around. So now everything is gone, because just removed everything in the world. And then I can spawn new stuff. So now it's in the game mode rocket. So as I said before, I think I want a couple of different things to happen. I want the camera to behave differently when you like in the initial part where you just fly up. I want it to behave one way, and then I want it to behave another way when you're actually playing up in space. So when you're up in space, what I'm thinking is that you're gonna have like there's gonna be like objects that come at you. Like initially I'm just gonna have like there's things to dodge, and then eventually you will get to this planet at the end, which is where the oaks grow, so you can get your acorn that you need. And there will be then you will crash on that planet, and there will be things happening, and so you will sort of go through space to another place. Hello, Brian. What's happening? So what is happening? I am. Oh no. Oh, you know what just happened? I did destroy world here, and my level editor is not very sophisticated. So what happened was that whenever you exit the level editing mode, it saves whatever was in the level right now. So it actually just overwrote the whole level. It's fine. I'm just gonna check it out from Git because I haven't changed it. Git checkout level out.json. This is of course just, I should have like you load one thing in the editor and then you hit save. It shouldn't be like some weird auto thing, but hey, there we go. So as long as I don't go into the level editor, I will be fine. So one thing I want for it to feel more like you're going into space is a gradient that shifts while we're going up. So I think I'm going to add that first to make it feel a bit more like you're going somewhere. That would be sweet. Grade, and there is like a function to draw a gradient. Draw a rectangle gradient vertical, maybe. So what we will do is something like here, down here it draws the world. So down here we'll do like draw rectangle gradient V, and this is in screen space currently. So it's only in draw world we have this begin mode 2D, then it takes a camera, all that. That's when it starts being sort of in the camera space. But before that, when we're outside that, we're drawing in screen space, which is pretty neat because we can just be like, okay, I want this one. This one draws at X, Y, and a width, a height, and then it has two colors. So I want a nice gradient to have like more of a sky, and then we will shift these colors as we go up further into space, and we will get darker and darker or something. Maybe we'll add some clouds at some point. Who knows? But it's called. I have a screen. Isn't it called? What's it called? Window width. What do you know? And then we'll try like that first, see what happens. So I have some questions. I like auto save, but I also enable saving before every code run. Makes it consistently save before running. Yeah. The auto save is. Oh, this is crazy right now. Yeah, but I will fix that. So I will have like, so the editor you can. There's an explicit save, and I also want to be possible to open other scenes and stuff. And then was a question about how do you handle resizing in 2D games generally? Do you just scale the tiles and use pillar box and letterbox? So the question is like, if you add like black bars on the sides and you scale everything, it depends a bit. If you have enough stuff to like, so in Raylib it uses sort of a it uses two things. So I have a window size, which is just, I can change the window size. I can do like this. So here's my window. I could do like 192 by, so now we'll have a square window instead, like this, and this still works. But so it has a window height and a window width. And what makes my pixels as big as they are is actually that I have like a concept of a 2D camera. So I have like get camera. This is I have this function that returns a Raylib camera, which takes the current camera position and a zoom level. And the zoom level is what sort of, you can see when I enter editor. Here I just changed, in order to make this zoom in and out in the editor, I changed the zoom of the camera, and then I can move it around with WASD. But it's essentially just a resolution plus a zoom, and the zoom controls which part of the screen you're looking at. Then there's of course some people that really want it to be like pixel perfect. For example, maybe in my case I move the camera. You can be at, like, you see at the edge here, you're at like a half a pixel. Some people think that's like impure, that you should always, if you're doing pixel art, it should be like the camera should snap pixel by pixel. But that just, then you just need to move the camera position with the zoom level in mind so that it snaps nicely. But I don't do that because I think it's nicer if it's smooth. But anyways, this gradient looks like crazy. Gradient, first thing, it should be darker higher up. Here we go. And then these two colors I'm gonna feed depending on stuff, what happens. So I have, like, depending on where you are, height wise. So we're gonna do like this. Background, BG color 1, BG color top, BG top, and BG bottom is our actually, let's give them sensible defaults. So we do like this, the top and the bottom, and now we have to think a bit. So we want something nice and blue, red. I usually just freestyle these things. Red, mostly red, then 230 and 255, and then at the bottom it's slightly darker. So it's gonna be a, let's just try something like this: 60, 60, 140, 255. And then we go in here. So this seems to be the top one, this seems to be the bottom. See what happens. Okay. Let's let's do like this, put the window here and try to tweak this in real time. BG top, the top color is okay. The bottom one needs to, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna take this to Aseprite, and then I'm gonna look at this. What if it was, so we have this color here. Maybe I want something more palish down here, or a bit more. Is this what I want? What's up here? So if I had something that went from this to this, maybe. So I'm just doing a little color test here, trying to get a feeling for what I want. This would be quite dramatic though, so I don't want that actually. Okay, I think this one needs to be a bit more like that. And then maybe this one needs to be. Okay, let's try that. So this one is 30. It says down here. This one is 34, 44, 1, 2, 3. That's the 34, 34, 1, 2, 3. That's a lot darker than I. Oh, wait. Yeah, but that's what I want. At the bottom I want it to be. Okay. 66, 127, 66. I need to install there's a Microsoft Power Tools, Power Toys thing that where you can pick colors on the screen. It's actually quite good. I need to reinstall that one since I reinstalled Windows or something. Why do I still have it square? That doesn't help me. Oh yeah, I need to restart the game because one thing the hot reload doesn't do is resize the window. So it got confused. Call BG bottom. Yeah, I'm like, how does this? Now I'm gonna do it again. How does a sky colors? How does a sky look? Blue sky colors. So it's paler at the so it's sort of pale down here, and then it becomes darker. Yeah, so I need to flip these. It needs to be something like that. And now to the because currently it will just be like you go into the ship and you go away and nothing changes. But it will look pretty cool, I think, if we make it so that the background shifts color as you go up. Then we need to know which color did which position did the I sort of need to have a reference point so I know that. Well, actually it's fine, I think. Okay, let's do it like this. If p.post of y is less than like 30, now we'll start to alter the color. And then we do like bg top. Is there, I wonder if there is some way to like color, like can I want to sort of blend from, like depending on a value. I have like, this is the starting value and this is the end value, and I want to blend between them. Actually, I think maybe I can just linearly interpolate between them. So let's do like this. So what I'm thinking here is that we will shift the colors of the from the bottom of the top of this gradient and I will try to do it with some kind of lerp or something. And a nice thing is that the lerp function in Odin, I think it will just work with vectors, like which my colors are just sort of 4 floats. So I want to go from BG top to like, okay, what's the BG top space? Is RL color, and it needs to be much darker. So I'm gonna steal these two. I'm gonna steal these two. Add space. Let's see here. We need to make these much darker. Let's just slash the numbers here a bit. And this one goes way darker. This one goes like that. So we lerp from this color to this color based on, does lerp stop when the, no, okay. So there's some lerps stop when the T goes above 1 or something, so it kind of saturates, but I can do it myself. So if the position is over like -30 up to like -400 or something, that's the space we want to be in between. So we have y min equals 130. Maybe we'll do like this. Y max is -400. Do I have a really long... What is Sublime doing? Like my cursor disappears sometimes. Very interesting. Like the caret is just gone here. Where is it? Oh, I know. I had moved the window slightly to the side. It was over here. I'm like, oh, it's bugging. Greger says, you might also just multiply the color vectors with something less than 1 based on y. Yeah, we could do that also. It gives sort of less control to sort of go to another color. I'll just try this first. Diff. How do I... Wait a minute now. Now I need to think. I want to check... oh, I know. I want to be like p.post of y divided by I don't even know if I need. Yes, I need, because it should be C when it's minus. So when I'm at height -30, so my minus is upwards if it's confusing. So the further more minus, the more up on the screen I go. So do I need to be like -y min? Let's call this one BG, and we call this one T, and we put a parenthesis here. I'm just gonna do like this actually. I'm gonna do like this, and then I do format println T. Then we'll see what that does. So we go into this one, Then when we go above 30. Huh? Why nothing happened? Oh, because I had a compilation error and I didn't see it. 623. That was a typo. What was it before? Okay. That's a good 8-bit color. So now we try again. Now when it goes above -30, it starts saying a random number. Did it start at 0? That's important. Yes, it does. And then it goes above 1. That's okay. Because we can be like the minimum of this and 1. Yeah. And now we take this value and we take, so now both the bottom and the top should start lerping, I hope. Okay, I think I need to do like, do I need to so these are like this. I can show you the color in Raylib, the color. Actually, by default this is a struct, but I've changed it to be like a distinct oh, of course I need to it only works on float. Huh. It only works on because even if I do this, so this would, I think, take out the, yeah, so now it says, but isn't, okay, I'm a bit confused here. Linear. And then, okay. I was hoping I could just lerp the colors. What's the best way to do this? Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna do this. Because I don't. My brain is broken. And then I'm gonna go up and do this. I don't have a. I probably should have like some kind of three-dimensional vector type. Currently I only have a two-dimensional vector type in my program because I haven't done anything three-dimensional yet. I have the two-dimensional color type and two-dimensional vector type and colors. So that should work now. Now these are sad, but that we can fix by just being like we call this underscore f. Then we go like bg bottom is rl.color, where we go u8, we convert blah, 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 bg top, bg bottom f dot r. You can actually, on vectors, you can use RGB as well as XY Z, just to make it nice to work with colors. So that's just built into the language. Like anything free or four-dimensional, you can put RGBA instead of X, Y, Z, W. That's quite nice. I know this is not the best way to do it, but I just want to see if it works. Ah. No, wait, that's not the error. Oh, it was? Okay. See. And then nothing happened. Oh, wait. I was creating a new variable in here. Let's try this instead. Ooh, sweet. It become dark. Now I can tweak these colors. So why is am I confused? Why is the, wait a minute. The bottom is brighter, okay. That is bottom. The bottom is brighter. The bottom, but this one is brighter. That's the top. Is this? Wait, I'm total red, green, blue. What? Who? What? So top is bottom. That's just great. That's a good start. Now this looks like it. Now you're in the scary poison world where everything will die and you will be sad. Oh well. Top is bottom. So we will change those around. So I want it. I'm like, my brain is like, huh? So I want the top to be, okay, I should switch the place there and then go down here and switch the place. Ah. The visual result was correct, but the code was confused. So now I can change, now this one is, top should be darker, so this should also swap place. Okay, okay. Very good. So I go in here and I fly away, and now I can tweak the final colors up here a bit. So that's a bit too, I want it to be a bit blue, but like maybe 10, 10, 23. How about that? And then this one maybe 16, 27, 40. Maybe. I mean, you're in space eventually. It's completely dark, but it's nice to have some kind of little thing going on. let's try replaying with that. Hahaha. So this is sort of, and then, yeah, and then new things will appear here soon. Okay, about the camera. So currently you can go faster and faster and faster and faster, and then the camera sort of leaves you. I think I want, when you're in the rocket game mode, that you've reached this height, then it will change how the camera works, essentially. So then it will, then I want it to move so that, okay, I think I know what I want. So we do this. Switch mem.game_mode case cat case.rocket. So we do the same in both for now. Fly away. Yeah. But then I want the spaceship to be sort of further down, and I also think I want it to zoom out a bit when you're up here. So we just add a little vector to this that's like 20, and then we make the camera move faster. I mean, why did it, shouldn't it, just questioning my sanity. Oh yeah, that's sort of a bit more what I want. It's funny, I can just tweak this in hot reload and it just moves smoothly there. Oh, that's good. Tack. I got mochi, I think. And then we want to zoom it out a bit. So currently the zoom, there's a game camera zoom which is hard coded. Let's see. So it draws the world with the game camera zoom. That's a bit boring. Can we? Yeah, okay. So this is maybe reasonable. There's a camera zoom here, that's a f32. And then game, okay, if I just remove this constant here, recompile and see when does that go wrong. Okay, let's do like this. We call this the default game camera zoom. Recompile, and then we fix some errors. So here we want to say mem.camera zoom instead, because that's one we just created. And that's it. The only thing important now is to, when I start the game, I set mem.camera zoom to default camera zoom. I think that should do it. See, yeah, and then we can change the camera zoom as we want. Oh wait, I looked away when that. They just, yeah, it goes a bit fast. It snaps down the camera very quickly, but we'll see what we do about that. mem.camera zoom. Let's just put a hard number first. I think is more positive closer. Well, let's find out. 4. Okay, now it's zoomed out. So now I want it to kind of shoop out a bit. So we can do like maybe camera zoom diff, and we put that as mem4 minus mem.camera zoom, and then we say that, then we do funny stuff like this. I should probably, this is always a bad idea actually. You should usually lerp it between two values, so you have a starting value like whatever the camera zoom was when you started, and then the final one. But I just want to test this, because what this will do, since it will start shaking around when it's done. Like it will go to, the camera zoom will become 4 and maybe overshoot a bit, so then this plus will start flipping back and forth. But I'm gonna try. Not bad, not bad. Oh, yeah, I really don't like how the camera just goes that quickly, but again, I think I need a proper lerp here or something, because yeah, I need to know where the camera was when it started this rocket game mode, and then I'm probably also, you know, currently I'm in like, where am I? I'm in the update function of player rocket and changing game modes and stuff. Probably gonna shuffle this around a bit, but I'm just experimenting like this. Oh well. The funny thing is the camera follows the player in X, so I can't move to the side because the camera will catch up with me. But I don't want to do that. I want, like when I'm in this game mode, I want there to be like a max X and Y. Actually, the player should probably stop moving in the world completely, and it's sort of, it might be that the world is coming at you rather than you moving through the world. Let's see. Okay, but let's try that actually. Let's disable so that the camera no longer follows you in. Let's just do like player to camera.x is 0 when you're in rocket mode. And that will make it so that you can move sideways. And then actually this stuff here, I will move these things. I will move all this stuff. Blah blah blah. I will move that to the bottom, I think. And this stuff, remove the R. This stuff I will move into, so you can only move sideways with left and right when it has passed the threshold for you to switch into the other game mode. Like that. And then I can put 0 here. I think that might work. Now I can move sideways, and now I can. And then I can, what I wanted to do was up this a lot. So it goes like shoom. Dun 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 dun. What am I doing? Move it down a bit. Yeah, so you know, in some of these games where you fly something through space, you can move sort of in a box that's sort of this big, and you can move up and down and left to right, but you're sort of, yeah. But I'm probably not gonna do like big, like, you know, it's not gonna be like those bullet hell games where you have to shoot lots of things. It's more gonna be, there's gonna be some things to dodge and some things to pick up and stuff, and then eventually you get to the planet where you want to go. I just think it's funny to go into it and fly away. Yeah. Should I add something more? There should be things in the way, sort of up here. But I think I'm pretty done for today, maybe. Yeah, I think I'm pretty done for today. So I will clean this code up a bit until next stream. I will try to make sense of the game mode stuff so that it yeah, it doesn't live inside update loop of the rocket and stuff. So just to recap, what's gonna happen here is that you will start the game. You will start here next to your friend the squirrel, who is sitting here and crying because their oak tree got chopped down, and then you will ask them if you can fetch a new oak tree, and then they say yes, but with the caveat that all the oak trees on this planet has also been chopped down, so you have to go to another planet. And this spaceship is not gonna sit here, it's gonna sit like, you're gonna have to do some, you're gonna go through this little platforming scenario here, and you're gonna climb up some stuff here. Why doesn't it? Yeah, it's a bit hard to grab sometimes. I'm not sure why. So there's a cave here. You go up, and then I'm gonna add some nice environment art to this. Some whatever is left of the forest. You go up here, and as it stands right now, this is where you find the spaceship. And this is my old mock-up spaceship here. It changed, the background color changed because the edit mode doesn't draw the gradient. But yeah, so that's that. And I will work on actually putting in some more, like that's just actually something to do when you're in the spaceship. And then I'm also gonna think a bit more about the gameplay when you're sort of in this platformer mode. If there is like dangerous things for you to watch out for, or if I have sort of more of there are some like puzzles stopping you from proceeding to the spaceship. I'm gonna try to figure that stuff out, but we'll see. But yeah, that's it for today. Now I'm gonna go to space. Whee! Okay, so now I will click the button that ends it all in OBS. So thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next stream, where there will hopefully be more, even more cool space games.